this is The Forest, a game where you try to survive in the woods with a lighter and a fire axe while also trying to not be killed by cannibals. Well, cannibals, yes, and mutant children as well. And yeah, they're children according to the lore. So, the survival horror game is incredibly spooky, with the obnoxious screeching of the cannibals, the horrible effigies made of human organs, and the constant fear of gaining too much weight. Thankfully, you can play this game online with friends, which makes the horror aspect much weaker. I mean, seeing your friends goofing around instantly makes the experience less scary. I used to play this game when I was like 12 with a good friend of mine, and basically whenever there was an enemy and my friend wasn't around to protect me, I would just press Alt F4 and quit the game right away. God, I was such a wuss. Anyway, my point is, the ambience of this game is top notch now. Even if you're not particularly a fan of horror games like myself, you can still enjoy The Forest for its survival aspect. You need to manage your thirst and hunger, but also make sure you're not cold or wet. Hunting wild animals allows you to obtain meat that you can cook or dry, and you can also eat Snickers and human flesh as well as drink Dr. Pepper and alcohol. What's not to like? Also, remember when I said that the cannibals were the bad guys? Yeah, you are the bad guy because you eat cannibals, which makes you a cannibal yourself. It makes sense, right? Furthermore, apart from the fact that you eat legs and arms like the so-called bad guys, you also steal their forest. You destroy their trees, their fauna and flora, you profane their totems, you literally spit on their culture, and then you wonder why they're attacking you. Well, to be fair, they did kidnap your son at the beginning of the game, so I guess the genocide is justified in this case. And now that I think about it, you can't realistically expect me not to kill anyone who looks different than me. That's just not what we civilized people do, right? Now, there are various ways to colonize the natives and make yourself at home. You can build various structures such as campfires, shelters, defensive walls, water collectors, and obviously cars. You have so many building options, you could probably build an entire city if you were dedicated enough. But why would you build huge structures with multiple defenses and traps where you could just build a small treehouse and stay out of reach, making you virtually invincible? Actually, they can do quite a lot of things. Sure, the AI in the game isn't perfect, but it's still surprisingly good. Sometimes cannibals can fight among each other or even surrender and kneel before you. And I always kill them when they do that. But I wish they didn't come to the surface and would just stay inside their caves. But, you know what, after visiting them, I understood why they wanted to leave. The caves. They're super spooky, but you need to explore them if you want to beat the game. You can find interesting things inside them, like the missing passengers from your plane crash, but who am I kidding? The best thing you can find in these caves is the fucking Katana. Aw yes, thanks to the Katana you can have the power of both god and enemy on your side and exterminate these fucking mutants like a shark in the middle of a school of fish, and boy does it feel good to slide through the enemies. Overall, I'd say the caves are centered around the horror aspect of the game, while the forest itself on the other hand is more about survival, but when combined, and if you ignore the few bugs that you might encounter, these two aspects give you an immersive, fun, and memorable experience, and that's why I give The Forest a score of 90%.